Okay, morena tātou, and welcome everyone here in the Town Hall and watching online to our Budget Committee meeting. A couple of reminders before we start. The meeting is being live webcast. Please be present at the meeting and ensure your phone is turned off or at the very least on silent. We have a full array of councillors present today. Before we get to the main event, Councillor Darby just wants to make a positive acknowledgement quickly.
Thanks, Mayor. Many will know that I've always had a great interest in the architecture of our city. Last night at the Institute of Architects Auckland Awards, Auckland Council projects collected 4 awards. The awards do go to the architects, of course, but our teams have been involved with 4 winning awards, and we won for, the architect won for public architecture for the Kaipātiki Eco Hub, that was Athfield Architects. We also won in the heritage category for the Auckland Domain Winter Garden restoration and seismic upgrade, and that went to Salmon Reed Architects, our partners there. And that's on the council side, and Eko Panuku, a little wider. Their project of the Hayman Park Playground won the prize for planning and urban design. And the 4th is the Ko Tui Tui Terraces by Crossan Architects, a housing project, and that is attributed to Eke Panuku and Auckland Council in part because it is a site that we sold for regeneration. So, Mayor, thank you. I just wanted to, our teams, our people have been contributing to that success and making sure that those architects are acknowledged. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, welcome Member Kake. We have a full complement. The only apology is Member Taipari, who's online and will physically arrive in a couple of hours, I believe. Yes, on 1 hour. Thank you very much. Okay, we set out to do things differently in this long-term plan with those facilitated sessions where all of us got to put up our ideas and have them included early on in the process. Back in December, I said this was the time to tackle our big financial challenges and strengthen the financial and physical resilience of the region. I wanted to focus on fixing Auckland and not just kick the can down the road. Believe it or not, we had over 65 workshops and 120 hours of meetings, plus the drop-ins and other briefings. There's been lots of chances to put up your ideas and lots of chances to ask your questions. It was good to test different options in consultation, even though we got a lot of things from people who actually wanted to pay less and get more. But that wasn't an option which we put forward or were even able to. We did get broad support from the public for the direction of our plan. We've listened and I've largely done what they've asked for. We've managed to find more money for transport without increasing rates too much. We've also been able to address the concerns of local boards about fairer funding. A particular thanks is owed to the members and chairs of the political working groups who contributed to this. These contributions have made this plan much better. We've fixed water. We've avoided those 25.8% price hikes and let Watercare get on with their capital program. It was good the government listened to us. We've also got the port to agree to make more money, which is also good, and thanks to Roger and the unions. The recovery work has gone very well thanks to our team, and we're well underway with this. So what's changed since my initial plan was floated? I'm still proposing that we establish a regional wealth fund called the Auckland Future Fund to improve the physical and financial resilience of the council. Based on including the airport shares, The fund will give us a stronger and steadier return. This will be an additional $400 million over 10 years, an annual benefit of $40 million for ratepayers that we won't be having to take off them via rates. I want to again acknowledge the contribution of the Investments Working Party to developing this proposal. The initial fund will be started using the airport shares. Its clear purpose is to protect the real value of the fund and make strong returns. There will be strict protections against raids of this by future council. This revised future fund essentially enables us to swap a single asset for a diversified asset portfolio that can be expected to provide a higher and steadier rate of return and be more resilient to shocks that impact council's other assets. I know some of you have a strong attachment to the airport shares. My view is that the future fund honours the legacy of the councils that retained the airport shares by making sure we provide for future generations. It means that that legacy continues and can be improved upon. It's been pointed out that some areas of Auckland have already benefited from the sale of shares, which were used to provide better local infrastructure. This only compounded by a funding formula for local boards that locked in the unfairness and penalised rural areas. I am proposing to do two things to address this. Number one, fairer funding. Finally fix the unfairness in how local boards are funded based on legacy assets by accelerating fairer funding over the next 4 years without requiring any reallocation, which would have cut some funding to some boards. Number two is a one-off reserve fund. We set aside the increased returns from the future fund for year one, which we weren't counting on in the central proposal, in a reserve fund to do a one-off fix and finish of community projects in the legacy areas. This is expected to be around $20 million, which could go to some important projects such as the Manukau Sports Bowl. This will help address imbalances and is a good example of something the local boards advocated for and I've listened to. We're using this one-off windfall return from doing it quicker in a meaningful way. I want to emphasise there's a lot more money going to local boards, so I expect more decisions to go to them. More localism means more accountability for decisions and less requests arriving at the governing body for very local expenditure. That's why we have local boards. On the transport boost, there was strong support for the priorities in our central proposal. Fix the roads, cut low-value initiatives, and make public transport faster, more reliable and easier to use. So I wish to proceed with these central proposals, which include the $50 weekly public transport pass for buses, trains and inner harbour ferries. Transport was also an area in which many wanted to see us do more, and I've made some changes to the proposed budget to recognise this. $10 million more for public transport funding to maintain bus services and track maintenance. This proposal still requires Auckland Transport to find $60 million in savings so it can manage cost pressures. AT's capital program. The final proposal includes a significant boost for Auckland Transport's capital program from the $13.4 billion we consulted on up to $14 billion. The extra spend will enable completion of the next 4 critical level crossing removals in Takanini, which have been identified by Auckland Transport as the top priority for additional transport spending to maximise the benefits of CRL. There is also a new one-off capital grant to boost the safety of bus drivers by installing safety screens to protect the drivers. All in all, this is what Aucklanders said that they wanted. So now to the numbers. Based on all of this, I am pleased to be proposing modest overall rates increases for the average value residential property of 6.8% in year 25, 5.8% in financial year 26, and 7.9% in financial year 27. Almost all of that increase, which is due to the City Rail Link, and then average rate increases of no more than 3.5% beyond that for the rest of the LTP. This reflects the fact that more people wanted either the central proposal or less. Even these modest figures are difficult to digest for some people, and they are cumulative. I'll be very disappointed in any actions today that put more pressure on our beleaguered ratepayers. So thank you. This has been a mammoth process, and we've all contributed to the final product. A particular thanks go to staff around the council who have been working so hard to support us getting to this point. Let's land on a plan so we can get on with delivering it. I want to keep this focused today on the LTP and not stray into new things that we did not consider or did not come up in the 120 plus hours of discussions that we've had. We've got here through a lot of hard work together, so let's have a good discussion today. I know some of you may want to put up amendments, so under SO 1.5.3, these must be in writing and given to Sonia and must consider the consequences on rates. In the event of amendments, we may need to adjourn the meeting while staff work through the implications. So for those folks watching at home, that might be the time to make a cup of tea. So now on to the meeting. Sonia will announce, I think even I can announce the apologies. It's only Councillor Member Taipari, and that's only for being an hour late.
Actually, he's online. Chair Taipari is online.
Who is that?
He's online.
Who?
Chair Taipari is online. There are no apologies.
Okay. We'll move and accept the apologies, me and Kieran. Thank you. All those in favour, please accept. Say aye. Okay. Declarations of interest. Does anyone call for any declarations of interest pertain to?
Sorry, there are declarations. Councillor Walker and Councillor Triner.
What for?
Declarations.
Declarations? You have?
Sure. I've sent some advice to the Chief Executive to the effect that I've got some association with shares in Auckland Airport. I've also received advice to the effect that that doesn't preclude me from participating.
Thank you for that, Councillor Walker. Will somebody else put a hand up? Councillor Turner?
Just wanted to let you know that my spouse now has airport shares, but I've been told I have no financial interest. Thank you.
Thank you for note. We'll note those two. Councillor Darby.
Noting the same on the airport shares, family interest in airport shares, and I've discussed that with legal, and legal have advised that I do not have a conflict.
Okay, good. Thank you for declaring those. Any further declarations? Well, I'll move that we note those. And seconded by Councillor Fletcher. All those in favour of noting those declarations, please say aye. Contrary? Carried. There are no petitions. There is no public input. Local board input, there is none for this meeting, though we had a lot last week. Thank you. So we've had lots of input from them. There are no known extraordinary items. So the next item we're moving to is item 7, the long